Alright, good evening mga kaibigan. Ito na naman po tayo ngayong gabi. Thursday po ng 8 o'clock ng gabi. Of course, welcome to My Toolbox, your weekly talk show for your personal finance here at PHLV Radio. The goal in this show is to give you financial information that you may be able to use on your day-to-day financial decisions. We will, of course, unbox topics that hopefully aid you and guide you and maybe even add to your financial tools. We will tackle important information mostly not taught in school, but of course is much needed to empower you financially. As usual mga kaibigan, in any idea that will transpire in the show, always consult with your financial advisors, insurance professionals, tax consultants, and what have you, okay? So again, my name is Enrico Pobre, your host. I'm a sales, marketing, and trainer, an economist, an entrepreneur, and also a financial professional. Mga kaibigan, if you have questions, ask them away on the chat box below. Or if you will be listening to this show on a later time, please feel free to contact or connect with me through Facebook or the title of the page is In My Toolbox. That's my Facebook page. Or connect with me via Instagram or LinkedIn. Okay, just Google my name, Enrico Pobre. You're going to find a lot of ways on how to get in touch with me. You can email me at enrico.inmytoolbox@gmail.com. Ayan naman mga kaibigan, Alam mo, dito po sa ating mga topic na mga nakaraang linggo for the last few weeks, it's been exciting and, I cannot always let you feel how excited I am. Kaya, biro lang. Okay. So, ito naman is going to be another topic for us. In fact, this is a second part of one of those things that we spoke about, in the initial stage of the show. We will be talking about harnessing the power of expenses. Ano? May power ba ito expenses na to? Yeah. So, harnessing the power of expenses using the infinite banking concept. I think I've mentioned this one with you or to you guys at one point. The reason why I have to put this back for you guys to see in detail on how to harness your expenses, the power of your expenses. And of course, the second part of this one is what is infinite banking concept. Last week po kasi we were able to tackle, on how to save tips. Kasi on all of these things that we're talking about personal finances, I've been showing you ways on how to grow your money, correct? But last week naman po kasi is where are we going to get that money? Correct? Okay. So this one naman is going to be a source of that topic of where are we going to get that money. Now, this is a very odd, or not really, it's a very unconventional way of thinking about personal finance that can you imagine you can actually harness the power of expenses? What it means is that you will get something out of your expenses. I'm not saying to add more expenses, okay? That's a different story. This one is harnessing the power of your expenses. That's one. Number two, using the infinite banking concept. Okay? So, ano ba tong banking concept na ito pinag-uusapan natin? What is this infinite banking concept? So, right in your screen right now, guys, this is the banking flow chart. Okay? So, you put your money into the bank, and what the bank does is they put money, they put it all in a pool of money. That's your money. That's my money. That's a depositor's money. And then what the bank does is they put that money into an investment platform. It can be stocks, bonds, or real estate. And the other part of it, guess what, guys? Nako, they actually make us borrow our own money. I don't know, guys, if you actually know that, but yeah, they actually let us borrow our own money. This is the thing. Actually, I remember that there's a client of mine that said, okay, Enrico, that's not true. I don't borrow my own money. Of course you do. How much savings account do you have? Checking account do you have? $5,000. How much do you owe in credit card? $5,000. There you go. You just borrowed your own money. Can you, diba? So that's exactly what I mean by, all of our money's in the bank. Now, they let us borrow our own money. And what's so crazy about that? The banks, they charge us high interest rate. And in our checking account and savings account, how much do you earn? Of course, that's a problem, diba? It's a very minuscule amount of return. Well, naman kasi the real reason now that we're putting money into the bank is, well, we feel that money is safe in the bank, and as long as it's liquid convenient, we're okay, whatever the bank gives us, But the truth is, they're actually using our money for, of course, for their own benefit. At the end of the day, that's business for them, right? So why am I talking about this banking flow chart? Because the infinite banking concept that I'm talking to you about is all about recapturing the lost opportunity of your hard-earned money. That's actually what the infinite banking is all about. Wow, Enrico, that's very deep. Well, that's so true. We didn't even think that there's a process to recapture the lost opportunity cost of your hard-earned money. In fact, the infinite banking concept is the process by which, one person, you and me, we can actually become our own banker. What? Yeah, you can actually, no, I'm not saying that you put up your own brick and mortar bank. Hindi po ibig sabihin ganun, no? What I'm trying to say here is your finances, you can operate it like a banking system. Wow, powerful, diba? So that's what infinite banking concept is all about. But of course, guys, the infinite banking concept, you have to have a tool to become your own banker. Yan na yung infinite banking concept. So the thing is, infinite banking concept is going to be your vehicle, for you to be able to operate your finances like a bank. Yun ang ibig sabihin nito. Para bang, I'm here from Las Vegas, and if I go to Los Angeles or California, I need to have a vehicle going there, right? So in my mode of transportation would be my car. Ganon din dito. If you want to operate your finances like a bank, you need to have a tool, and that tool is called the infinite banking concept. Pero syempre, some of the people will be asking me, Enrico, this is very unconventional. Pero let me ask you this, Enrico, how much is infinite banking concept? Well, regrettably, guys, you don't buy infinite banking concept. What you do is to formulate it. You have to have a formula on how to make it work in your own finances. Now, you need to have a product. It should come from a mutual company. And then, it has to be a dividend-paying whole life insurance. What, Enrico? There's no life insurance? Yeah. In everything that we do anyway, even the banks, they're all using life insurance. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. But the whole banking system anyway is using the life insurance, quote and unquote, right, to operate their business. So here too, if you want to operate your finances like a bank, you will need a life insurance or whole life policy, pero not just an ordinary whole life policy. It should come from a mutual company, which is a dividend-paying whole life policy. Enrico, that's very complicated. I don't want to be a bank anymore. But that's okay, guys. Naiintindihan ko because when the first time that I heard about this one, I thought the same way too. Pero we already have, some companies who did shortcuts for this IBC. There are companies out there that created already those products that all you have to do and all I have to do is to avail of that product, and you can already operate your finances like the bank because they have products for infinite banking concept, if that makes sense. Okay. Of course, guys, I know this is a kind of a very, very unconventional. But then again, guys, just repeat on viewing or watching this show up until that you get the whole gist of what I'm talking about. Because the whole goal of this show today is to show you how to harness the power of your expenses using this infinite banking concept. So moving forward, guys, there's actually a law. This law is IRC 7702. IRC stands for Internal Revenue Code 7702. Okay? So Internal Revenue Code 7702 was actually, instituted by the IRS. Again, kasama ng IRS ito. Hindi gawa-gawa ni Enrico to. Hindi po address ni Enrico yan. Hindi rin po telephone number ni Enrico yan. Ha? That's not my address. That's not my telephone number. That is a tax code. Okay? So it was instituted by the IRS in 1984. And the whole, shortcut of that number is what you call the life insurance law. If you're familiar with IRC 401k, hindi po produkto yan, yung 401k. It's a tax code. Internal Revenue Code 401 sub K. Yun po ibig sabihin yan. 403B, 529, 457. Sa life insurance po, there's also a law that comes along with it. So that's the law of the life insurance contracts that you and I have. It's called Internal Revenue Code 7702. So you can actually Google it and find out what this 7702 is all about. But just for me, guys, what I'm trying to tell you is yung shortcut lang, okay? The shortcut of this 7702, it tells you and me that everything that's growing inside the life insurance contract, it can be protected against liens, garnishes, judgment, divorce, annulment, and bankruptcy. Haba? Ganda na. protected against liens, garnishes, judgment, divorce, annulment, and bankruptcy. O, yung mga nag-iisip ng divorce yan, wag nyo, hindi ko sinasabing magpaka-divorce kayo. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is, there is a platform, which is your life insurance, that it can be, everything that's actually growing inside it, it can be protected against liens, garnishes, judgment, divorce, annulment, and bankruptcy. And the only reason behind it is everything that's growing inside that life insurance contract is not considered as an asset. Okay? So minsan nga, pag nagpe-present ako I call it the MC Hammer Law. What? Anong MC Hammer Law? Can't touch it. Dung, 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 dung. Dung, dung. Dung, dung. Di ba? Yan po, kaya ako tinatawag yung law na yan, the MC Hammer Law, because nobody can touch it. Sige, let's just move forward, guys. No? Ano bang natutulong nitong 7702 na ito? When you look at this this presentation, guys, that's your money. You know, some people put their money to an IRA, 401k, 403b, SEP, pension, what have you. But you guys, you and I know already, whatever that's growing inside that pot there, it's taxable, right? Well, of course, it's taxable. Number two, it's actually attached to the market volatility. It goes up, down, up, down, up. Anong susunod? Down. Correct yan. So whatever goes up can also go down, right? And of course, there's a government penalty attached to it because you are what? May guidelines ng government attached to that, to those platforms that you're seeing right now. And of course, there's tons of Wall Street fees. So yan po yung regular na kalakaran. This is the things that we actually are engaging to, most of us right now. Ganyan po yung nangyayari sa ating pera. So what does the 7702 allowed us to do is it allowed us to put money inside a life insurance contract, okay? And then allow that money to grow over time, that when you take it out, it's going to be what? Tax-free, penalty-free, and risk-free. Aba, ang galing ano! Of course, guys, this is just an overview of the things that 7702 can help you and me. Of course, again, go to your tax consultants or your insurance professionals. Just ask more about what I'm talking about. But just with this concept that I'm talking about, guys, who wouldn't want tax-free, penalty-free, and risk-free, right? And in fact, meron palang ganon. There's such a thing as like that. But most of us is on the right side of that screen, which is taxable, market volatility, government penalties, Wall Street fees. There's actually a way pala that you can have a platform that can be tax-free, penalty-free, and risk-free. So why didn't we know that? That's the reason why, guys, we're teaching these concepts in a platform or a show like this. So at least you guys would know that there is such a way that we can actually avoid those legally. All right? So that's the code called IRC 7702. Now, there's a lot of 7702 out there, especially all of our life insurance. It can be a term, it can be an index universal life, etc. But in particular, to becoming your own bank, I'm talking about a certain, whole life insurance. Why is it a certain? Because not all whole life insurance are the same, guys, okay? So this whole life insurance that I'm talking about can help you to run your finances like a bank. Wow, Enrico, this is really very unconventional. Of course, guys, because in the life insurance world, people knows majority that you have to die to make use of that life insurance. That's the only purpose of life insurance. But what we did not know, that there's so much more that we can actually use life insurance for, and this is one of them. Okay, so if you would want to operate like your finances like a bank, you are actually going to use a whole life policy, but it should come from a mutual company, and it's a dividend paying as well. Okay, so to cut the story short, what I'm trying to show you here, guys, now in your screen is we will need to open up a life insurance contract. So in this case, guys, let's just say we put $12,000 into the premium of your life insurance. What, Enrico? That's too much. Okay, well, hold your horses first. Guys, let me just explain the reason why. Because this is not how we think of life insurance. Very, very unconventional. In fact, this is the opposite of how we think life insurance is. Okay, so let's just say we put $12,000 in there. Okay, Enrico, definitely it's the opposite of how we think of life insurance, because I'm only paying $20 a month on a life insurance. Now you're talking about $12,000 a year. Okay, guys, this is just an example. Okay, so let's just say we put $12,000 into a premium of this policy, and a part of that will pay for the cost of insurance, and the other part of it will actually go to your paid up addition, because it's whole life, or sometimes people call this the cash value. Okay, but the goal here, guys, is to buy the smallest amount of life insurance. What? Can you do that? Yes. Because ordinarily, when people think of a life insurance, when they put their premium, that's it. But in fact, you can actually go to a granular level of how this premium is actually being attended to. Okay, so a part of it goes to cost of insurance, but we will only buy the smallest life insurance cost of life insurance, so that the rest of your money will actually be going to your savings or your paid up addition. So that's the goal in starting to create your infinite banking concept. Okay, so the smallest amount of cost of insurance, and the rest will actually go to your savings. Now, this savings is actually going to a bucket. That bucket, we call it bucket A. Okay, so that bucket, that money that you put there, will actually grow on a 2% fixed rate plus dividends. Remember, that's the requirement that we have a while ago. So let's just say you put $2,000 in the cost of insurance, and we put $10,000 into your savings. That $10,000 will go to bucket A, which will grow 2% plus the dividends. Okay, so now that $10,000 there's two words that I want you guys to understand in this picture. Number one, that $10,000 will grow compoundingly. Probably you guys would know that, right? Compounding means that interest over interest over interest, that you will have an interest on growing, okay, over time. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is it will grow uninterruptedly. What? Enrico, can you explain a little bit about uninterrupted growth? Of course. What an uninterrupted growth means, guys, is when you put your money into a certain platform, that money will actually guaranteed to grow forever. No interruption. The problem sometimes with people who would want to grow their money. Remember the cliche, probably, the cliche. This is something that you hear, most often. People say, oh, you need to make your money work for you. Make sense? So in fact, when you hear that, the question that I have in mind is it really working for you? This is the reason why I asked that question. Because when you put your money into a certain platform, if you take money out and then you put your money in, let's just say you put $10,000 and tomorrow you take $6,000 out, you put $4,000 in, you take another $2,000 out. There's actually a lot of movements inside your platform. So the question really is it really working for you? Because you keep on interrupting your money to grow. So here, in this case, when you put your money here, it's going to be an uninterrupted growth because you will just let it grow forever. So that's where your $10,000 is. But of course, the question is, Enrico, what if I need my money? This is now where the beauty of this conversation starts, okay? So, for you to be able to have an uninterrupted growth, when you need to access money, you are not going to access your own money. Rather, you will be accessing money from bucket B, which is the insurance company's assets. What? Exactly. So you allow your money to grow $10,000 forever. If you need money, you can actually tell the insurance company, "Oy, pautang nga." That's how actually it works. The insurance company can lend you 95%, up to 95% of whatever your money is in a bucket A. So if you have $10,000 there, they can lend you immediately up to 95% of that $10,000. So you can have access to $9,500 today without interrupting your $10,000 in bucket A. What? Exactly. You just had access to money that you don't have. That's the power of that. See? So you borrow against that bucket A. The company actually lends you $9,500. And that's what you call the unique borrowing feature of this product. Okay, of course, there's no such thing as free lunch, guys. Okay, so since the insurance company lends you the money, you can they will be charging you 5% simple interest only. Well, guys, you can actually Google this. What's the difference between a compounding and a simple interest? But just in layman's term, that 4% or that 2% plus dividends growing compoundingly is actually bigger than the 5% simple interest that the bank, or I mean the insurance company, is charging you. So there's actually what you call a wash loan there. Okay, so now you have access to a $9,500 money that you actually don't have. See, now once you borrow that money, okay, so the second question is, do I have to pay it back? Then pay it back. You can use the dividends to pay it back. You can pay it at any time. Nobody's gonna call you every 30 days that, hey, your bill is up. No, you can pay it anytime you want. For all I care, you pay it after 10 years. It doesn't really matter. You can also you can have a what do you call this? You can actually pay yourself, but you can put an interest on top of it. What, Enrico? Yeah. Remember, guys, when you borrow money from a credit card company, of course, they actually charge you an interest rate on top of it, right? And that interest goes to the bank, of course. Now, in this case, if you want to pay back that $9,500, you would want to put an interest on top of it, because in this case, you are the bank. So therefore, that interest is going to be what? Going back to you. Because the whole idea is for you to increase bucket A so that you can borrow more in bucket B, and you can pay it back again with a bigger amount so that bucket A is going to be growing. Now you see that there's a cash flow going on in this flow chart like a banking system. When we put our money into the bank, they lend that money to people, in any shape or form of a loan. And then with that interest, it's going to go back again to the bank. And that bank money or the pool of money grows, and they can the more it grows, the more they can lend money. The same thing as this infinite banking concept is working for this whole life policy. Okay, so again, guys, I know it's a little bit tricky on how it works because there's a lot of moving elements, but don't worry, guys. There's a lot of financial professionals out there that can actually discuss how this flow chart of infinite banking concept, how it really works. Probably at this stage, you already know about 80% of how this infinite banking concept works, but that's good enough, guys. Okay, because moving forward, I bet you guys, after I talk about all of these things today, at least you will have to say, oh, now I know how to become my own bank. All right, guys, the guy who created or founded infinite banking concept, his name is Mr. Nelson Nash. Okay, so you can actually avail of his book in Amazon. The title of this book is Becoming Your Own Banker. Wala po akong cut dyan, ha? No, I'm just kidding. The reason why I'm saying this one is this is probably one of the books that you would want to have in your financial tools. So start reading this book. It can actually help you more understand what I'm talking about. So this is not just Enrico's thing. It's actually a real concept. And this guy is the one who created it. His name is Nelson Nash. So he's the father of infinite banking concept. In fact, guys, what he said that, infinite banking concept, you can use this in any which way you would want to make use of this. You can use this for debt elimination. You can use this one for college education. You can even use this one for vacation planning, purchasing a house, purchasing a car, or even purchasing or putting up your retirement, or as an investment platform. You can use this infinite banking concept. So yan po, mga kaibigan, you can actually get that book. You can just get this in Amazon. At least you would actually now start a book, reading a book about finance if you have never done that before. Okay, so that's Becoming Your Own Banker book by Nelson Nash. Now, guys, there's what you call enemies of money. Pag naisip ko to, whenever I think about enemies of money, I treat it like like the termites of your like the termites. So if you have termites in your house, wouldn't you want to do something about it? Of course. The day that you found that you have termites in your house, I'm telling you that the exterminator will be there the next day. So the enemies of money, this is what I call the termites of money as well. If you know that these are termites of your money, wouldn't you want to find an exterminator of the termites of your money? Of course, it makes sense, right? And these are the enemies or the termites of money. Number one, fees. Okay, number two, the inflation. Number three, you call it the interest. And number four, you call it taxes. These are the enemies of money. So I think that when you know that you have enemies of money, you have to do something about it. But of course, majority of us, we just embrace these enemies of money. Okay. Or probably you just put your hands up like this and say, okay, I don't know anything or I don't know what to do anymore. It is what it is because everybody is in it anyway. Okay. But what if there's a way that we can defeat all of these enemies of money? By the way, I call it FIT. Fees, interest, inflation, and taxes. That's what I call FIT. F-I-I-T, the enemies of money. Okay. Now, let's just talk about the first enemy of money. It's called inflation. In fact, this is what you call interest and inflation and fees. We're going to go back there first. We're talking about fees. Nagkamali ako dun. The first is fees. Okay, so fees, this can be investment fees. This can be administrative fees. This can be a fiduciary, consulting fees. And pag nagkaroon po kayo ng investment, when you put an investment money, it can go as low as 0.3% fees to 3.5% fees of your own investment. So that's actually a problem because can you imagine, I don't know if you can do the math here, if you have a $100,000 or some people having $1 million of investment and they have 3% fees, can you imagine how much you are actually losing if that fees you put it into a platform that gives you an 8% interest rate and run it for the next 20 years compoundingly? You are actually losing a lot of money, right? It may seem like it's just a little amount of money, but it actually can be a retirement plan, a second retirement plan for you, okay? So the second one is what you call interest, okay? In fact, guys, the annual percentage rate or APR or interest is actually a deception. What, Enrico? Is it a deception? Yeah, it is a deception. I'll give you an example here, guys, okay? So in your screen right now, let's just say a person buys a $250,000 house. Meron pa bang $250,000 house ngayon? Hindi ko alam. Just in case, if there's a $250,000 house out there, okay, and then they said that you have 6% interest rate and you're going to pay this one for 30 years, okay? You and me would always think that we only have 6% interest rate when you bought that house. So every day you'd be thinking that you only have 6% interest rate. But the truth is, guys, in this case, that's not 6%. It is 115%. What? Paano naging 115% yun, Enrico? That's exactly my point. Because you're not actually paying it for 1 year only. You're paying it for 30 years. So you call it the volume of interest that you're going to pay. The duration of that 30 years is not 6%. It's 115% that you're going to be paying. So in this number, guys, that's $289,000 worth or cost of interest. It's actually more than the house that you bought. That's the reason why, guys, we always say that annual percentage rate is a deception. It's not just 6% or 5% or 3%, but it's the volume of interest that you're going to pay over time. That's what matters. Okay? So that's the reason why, guys, I always tell people, you have to make sure that you know the interest rate that you're paying. Okay, guys? So, in fact, sa interest rate pa lang, about 35% of your hard-earned money, okay? 35% of your hard-earned money goes to interest. Can you imagine that? Okay, so let's talk about inflation. This is the third enemy of money. So the inflation, guys, last year the inflation was 6.5. 2 months ago, inflation is 8%. That's crazy. So what is inflation? In economics now, inflation refers to the general progressive increase in prices of goods and services in an economy. Okay, so dun nila minimeasure the power or the buying power of your money. So it means, guys, if your inflation, if inflation rate is 6% or 8%, what have you, It means that wherever your money is today, it has to have the capacity to outpace inflation. That's how important, that's the reason why we need to understand what inflation is. Ibig sabihin, wherever your money is right now, wherever it is, if the inflation rate is 6%, you want to make sure that you're earning more than 6%. Otherwise, they devaluate your money. I'll give an example. $1,000 today will not be the same $1,000 by next year. If the inflation rate is 6%, guess what, guys? So next year, that $1,000 that you have today can only buy worth $940. So yun ang ibig sabihin ng effect ng inflation. So your buying power, the capacity of your money, is actually going down. So, sometimes I kid around with those people who are employed, di ba? Sabi ko sa kanila, if you are not getting an increase of 6% every year in your salary, in your workplace, don't you think they're actually devaluating your value? Everything is actually, the inflation rate is actually growing, and there's no way to with your salary to outpace it. Ang tawag natin doon, inflation rate adjustment ba dapat yan? Go back to your employer and ask it. Just kidding po. Okay, so that's what inflation is all about. And another thing, guys, is taxes. Of course, we already know this one. This is the biggest culprit of our money. It's not that I don't want to pay taxes, We just need to know how to have a platform to avoid those taxes legally. Which I already mentioned to you a while ago about the 7702. But look at this, the taxes. How many times do you think your money is being taxed, guys? How many times do you think? So if you're employed, before the money hits your bank account, they already took out they already withheld taxes, right? Now your money's in your bank account. You have this ATM card. You go to get gas. When you buy gas, they hit you with excise tax. When you go to your grocery, guess what? They hit you with sales tax, and etc. So how many times do you think your money is being taxed? And I'm going to tell you guys, 35%, okay, of your hard-earned money is actually going to taxes. So if I'm going to be talking to you guys about the enemies of money, just by the two, the taxes and the interest rate, the average, that's 70% of your hard-earned dollar already. And you actually don't even probably think about it because we're all in one system and we're okay with it. But if we really dig deeper into this, how much taxes, how much all of these things are affecting your hard-earned money. But if you know how to do away with those legally, I think you have to ask yourself, how much do you think your financial structure would look like today? So that's the question, right, guys? Now, look at this. The goal of my talk today about the enemies of money. Remember the termites? Of course, if you have termites in your house, the next day you would want an exterminator to exterminate it, right? Now, the enemies of money that I mentioned, which are fees, inflation, or interest, or taxes, all of these things. Those are the termites of your money. Wouldn't you want to have an exterminator of this termites of money? Right? So if you're able to remove all of those all at the same time, not saying one at a time, all at the same time, how much do you think the financial structure would look like today? Who needs overtime, right? Okay, who needs plan B? But what I'm trying to say here, guys, is you have to be smart, thinking on how to, because every day we always think of how to increase our cash flow. But what we're looking at is But what we are not looking at is a way on how to save money, right? Or save from expenses. Now, the third one is very unconventional. How to harness all of these things. How to harness all of these things for your own benefit. So that's what you call the term, the enemies of money. And the way to do this is to become your own banker, which is the infinite banking concept. Wow, that's powerful, di ba? So at least, guys, you know now that there's actually a way on how to make your finances more powerful. Okay, so we're talking about becoming your own banker. The other benefit of infinite banking concept is called capital formation. What capital formation? Yeah. So look at this, guys. Remember our bucket A while ago, yung $10,000, we actually put it in there. that's growing 2% plus dividends. That money, that $10,000 is growing an interest rate. You call it an internal interest rate. Okay, so your $10,000 there, you're growing it with an internal interest rate. That's the 2% plus the dividends, right? So it's growing. Now, your capacity of borrowing against it from the insurance company's asset up to 95%, remember? So you can borrow $9,500, money that you don't have. You can actually what? Invest it to another platform. Let's just say an annuity out there that can give you 12%, for example. But remember, how much are they charging you using this borrowing feature of the life insurance? 5% simple interest, right? So if you get this $9,500, put it into a platform that gives you 12%, guess what, guys? You're just actually earning 7% on top of that, 5%, okay? So that's what I'm trying to say about capital formation, because you have access to $9,500 and then you can invest it and earn an external rate of return while your $10,000 still earning an internal rate of return. That's what you call capital formation. One money, you're actually using it twice. Wow, what a powerful idea, right? So that's exactly what it means by using this infinite banking concept, using infinite banking concept to create capital for you. Okay, so let's talk another thing here. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm going to tell you, this is something that you would want to look at very, very, very carefully, okay? Or very, very intentionally. Who likes a free car? Ba, sabi ng mga kaibigan ko, gusto ko yan. I like the free car. Pero you have to understand it first, right? So, ibig sabihin, guys, we can actually show you how to make this car for free. Pero syempre, these are all concepts, okay? But before I show you the concept of this finance using infinite banking concept, the presumption of this example is, for example lang, you already have an infinite banking concept. And let's just say you have $100,000 there in your infinite banking concept. For example lang. Now, we want to buy this car, and this car is about 50 grand, okay? So there's two ways on how to buy this car. One way, you can choose a bank that you don't own. Let's just say, ABC Bank, okay? So you can have them finance your car, ABC Bank, or you can actually using your own bank, okay? Donald's Bank, Enrico's Bank na lang, mas maganda. Okay. Enrico's Bank with $50,000 in it. Okay? So, either way you choose, kung saan nyo man gusto bilhin yung kotse, either way you choose, you have to make sure that you have to pay $899 or $889 every month. Either way you choose to buy this car, you have to pay $889 every month. Let's just say for the next 72 payments or 6 years, you're going to be paying that amount. So, the total amount that you're going to pay is about $64,000. So, ibig sabihin, 50, the cost of the car, and then the total amount that you paid, $64,000. There's a difference of $14,000. So, that $14,000, of course, is what? The interest rate, right? That went to the bank. Kung halimbawa sa bank natin kunin yan. Now, after paying the 62 or the 72 payments or 6 years, you are left now of a depreciated car. Let's just say the depreciation of that car is $10,000. Okay? So, either way you choose where to purchase the car, that's what's going to happen. But this is where the beauty starts. If you choose ABC Bank, a bank that you don't own, after 6 years, you are left of a $10,000 depreciated car. Oh, we're all in the same boat. Ganyan naman talaga yan eh. After paying all your car off after 6-7 years, you're only left of what? A depreciated car. Ganun naman talaga yan. But if you choose to purchase this with your own infinite banking concept, your own bank, not only that you got the $50,000 back, you also recaptured that $14,000 interest, and you are also left of a $10,000 car. What? Exactly. Think about that again. Bumalik na yung $50,000 mo, sa'yo pa napuntang interest mo, meron ka pang kotse. Guess what, guys? If you look at this one very intently, you just have a free car after 6 years. That's the power of this infinite banking concept. Now, let me ask you now, guys, where do you want to purchase this new car? In a bank that you don't own or a bank that you own? Powerful, di ba? So that's exactly, guys, what's happening in here. In fact, on the left side, that's a liability. On the right side, it is now an asset. Can you imagine that? And you can apply this to, purchasing a house, anyway, guys, you can actually use this in any which way you would want it. But as long as, it's all about finance anyway. So in this particular example, I'm using a car. Okay, so, and of course, lastly, guys, I'm going to talk to you guys about turning liabilities into an asset strategy, which is actually, guys, is a way to convert expenses into making money for you. That's why I call this episode Harnessing the Power of Your Expenses, because we have what you call a strategy called turning liabilities into an asset, where you can convert your expenses in making money for you. What? Expenses ko na, making money for me pa. Di ba? That's very new and it's very, very unconventional. Kasi ganito yan, guys. Ito yung mga expenses natin. Mortgage, car note, credit card, business expense, personal loan, rentals, household expense. Ito yung expenses natin. These are our liabilities every month in, month out. This is what we have. This is applicable for you. It's applicable for me. Everybody listening here in this call. This is all about us, our expenses, our liabilities. Nobody escapes it, right? Now, what's happening right now, guys, is what you and I do. From our income, we put it in the bank, and from the bank, we pay all our bills, correct? That's just how we do it. All of us, And let me ask you a question. After paying all the bills, what happens to your money? Correct? Gone. Wala na. Parang ang sabi ng nanay ko, dumaan lang sa palad ko na wala na yung pera. I don't know about you guys, but I know a lot of people, the money is just about to hit the bank. The bills are now waiting, and the next day you look at it, there's no money anymore. But that's just the way it is, And that's the system that I'm talking about that you and I are in. That's how it is for all of us. Okay? So now, well, if this is not you, very good, you're very good in finances, but if this is you, we know this story by heart. Okay? Now, what's happening now with turning liabilities into an asset where you can actually harness the power of your expenses? In fact, this is what I'm telling everybody, Expenses are hidden gems. Expenses are hidden assets or unseen assets. You can actually really make money out of your expenses if you know how to do it. So again, we talked about turning liabilities to an asset. You would want to use a whole life insurance to make this happen. So again, remember the bucket where our premium is, that's about $12,000 a while ago, right? So a part of it goes to the cost of insurance, which will buy you, of course, life insurance, living benefits, and automatically increase your state value. That's what you put into the cost of insurance. But the goal there, remember, we are only going to buy the smallest amount of cost of insurance because you're not going to be purchasing this, guys, to create death benefit, really. You're just purchasing this so you are able to what? To have that advantage of the on your savings. You can have that advantage of using that money into your savings in what? In paying for your expenses. So this is what I mean. So you paid cost of insurance, okay? Now you remember the borrowing feature. We can borrow money from the insurance company's asset to pay for your bills. Mortgage, car note, credit card, business expense, personal loan, rentals, household expense, whatever you. We will be using the insurance company's asset to pay your bills so that the money that's supposed to be gone, now it's not gone. You actually put it into the saving component of that life insurance, and that money is going to be growing 2% plus dividends that will actually grow in your cash value that will grow tax-free. Wow. Did you guys get that? So the money, you put it into this life insurance. A part of it will pay for the cost of insurance, will buy you life insurance, living benefits, etc. Now, the expense money, we will get that to pay for the bills. We will borrow from the insurance company's money to pay for the bills, so that your expense money that was intended to pay for for your expenses, You will no longer need it to pay for the expenses because you already used the insurance company's money to pay for the expenses. So that freed up your real money, right? So this real money will actually grow 2%. Remember the bucket A? Plus the dividends. It will grow in your cash value. That will actually grow tax-free. That's the formula of turning liabilities into an asset. Of course, guys, these are just concepts that I'm talking to you about today. There's a lot of intricacies just, beyond this presentation. I would suggest, sit down with your financial professionals and get more information about what I'm talking to you guys about. Otherwise, if you need more information about this one, just email me or text me. I can give you links to, on how to learn and study this concept for free anyway. So that's what you call the turning liabilities into an asset strategy using the infinite banking concept. That's why I call this harnessing the power of expenses, because your expense money is going to be going to this platform that's going to be working for you now instead of it being gone. Right, guys? So, in fact, this is a very special strategy that we've been teaching the marketplace today. And if you see value to this, guys, definitely, get back to this video again, review it again and grasp it as much as you can. Okay, so you can access to this show anyway at any time. So keep on understanding the process. Otherwise, email me. I can send you some links with regard to how this process really works. And if you know that a lot of people will be able to benefit from this information, guys, please share this video and tell them you found out something that will empower their expenses. I'm going to tell you, they will have the same, a question mark face, just like how I first saw this strategy. Okay. So, of course, if you think that this is something for you, grab it, talk to somebody right now who knows this and make this part of your financial tools. Okay, so guys, that's just it for my my training today. It's all about harnessing the power of expenses, and I'm just so excited that I was able to share this information again with you. So again, sa susunod na naman po na Thursday, I'm gonna talk to you guys about debt elimination naman tayo next week, all right? So thank you so much, guys. Once again, thank you. My name is Enrico Pobre. Kita-kits muli tayo, mga kap!